Okay, I'm going to talk some more about white oak. I can't talk enough about white oak. There's a lot to say about them. This little white oak tree right here was a sapling when I bought this place 30 years ago. It was just about that big around as my finger, and just about as high as I could reach was how tall it was. It was a nice little sapling. And right now it's about 8 to 9 inches at stump height, 4.5 feet. In nice shape because it's in a good location, getting good light, and that's 30 years, 9 inches, and it's about 28 feet tall. Okay, and this little shagbark right here beside it was a sapling as well, about as big as my thumb in diameter. But it was 2 or 3 feet higher because there was more spindly and tall. These are both almost the same age, 30 years old. Stump height, he's 6 inches, okay? And he's about 32 feet tall. Hickories will grow up nice and straight and tall like that when they're younger, faster than the white oak. But he'll slow down here, then it'll take him forever to get big, get a mature tree. But this white oak that you're looking at here, if it was a sapling then, it was 2 or 3 years old, and it's 32, 34 years old. That's 36 years old. They're in that neighborhood. He's about 36 foot tall. That's what they'll do for their first years. They get up to, he had nuts last year. It started raising a crop now. This will be his 2nd or 3rd year. So that's what they usually start having nuts on them when they get around 30 to 35 years old on them shagbarks. This little tree here really hasn't done much on acorns, but this little white oak. But you'll see, you'll look up here, this is in March, and you'll see it's still got leaves hanging on it, okay? We can step back a little bit and you can see it's still got leaves hanging on it, and the big mother tree, and the big mother tree over here, its lower branches, it's still got leaves hanging on it, okay? White oaks, there are some other oaks. Down south and out west, they tend to hold their leaves worse than they do here in Pennsylvania, and in this region, the northeast and the east. But the white oaks will do it. There are some of the others that'll do it. I'll talk about them in their turn. But these white oaks will hold that, especially around the bottom. They'll hold their leaves all winter. We got a bad wind here about 4 nights ago, and took a bunch of these off. So I wanted to get this done before they all got off. But here's some I just picked up off the ground. They just started falling off by themselves yesterday. Okay, those have been hanging on this tree all winter. And you can see they ain't been on the ground all winter, because you can look at the leaves around here and see how they're all beat up. These have been hanging on the tree. Those are just coming off. Now, within the next week or so here, these white oaks will shed all these leaves. Their buds are start to activate, and they push these leaves off that they've been holding all winter. And that's a sign the sap's up in them, and their buds starting to activate. And they'll push these leaves all off here. Now it'll be, what's the day? The 30th of March. In another week, they'll be gone. These leaves will all be gone off these white oaks. And in 2 weeks, these white oaks will be starting to bloom out and all that business. And they'll get start getting their leaves on them. And by around May the 15th, they'll probably have a leaf on them the size of a squirrel's ear or a mouse ear. And Roger Swain was your host of the Victory Garden for many, many years. He has 2 degrees from Harvard University. I heard him comment one time about in his region about oaks getting a leaf the size of a mouse ear. Well, that ain't much different size about gardening. Well, in my region of the country, the old wise tale was to get the size of a squirrel's ear, it's time, your ground's warm enough to plant corn. And that usually falls pretty close into frost-free day, which would be about May the 15th here. And we'll see if that doesn't fall right in line with the squirrel's ear and May the 15th. But these, we'll pick back up with some more after vacation on these white oaks. I got a lot more on these white oaks. On this 30-year-old tree here, they'll hold its, you can see it's held leaves pretty well all over its whole crown. But on the big mature trees, like its mama over here, and the big big grandma over there, they don't hold their leaves all over the whole tree. They only hold the leaves around the bottom limbs of the tree in the winter. And some years they'll hold leaves more than they will others. And the old wise tale is a lot of oak trees go into the fall, early winter and late fall, holding a lot of leaves, going to be a bad winter. Now, I don't know whether that's a true statement or not, but that's an old wise tale the old timers used to say about, well, going to be a bad winter, and oaks is all holding their leaves. But white oaks almost do it all the time. Thank you.